Good morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today, we're going to talk about relationships. So, the title of this one is going to be Let's Talk Relationships. So, yesterday was Let's Talk Money, and yes, I keep a $20 bill on my desk. But yesterday, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of who I am, who my wife is, and what it is that we do. And today, I want to just talk about relationships. Since yesterday I talked about, and if you haven't watched yesterday's video, go back and watch that one, and then you'll have a better understanding of what it is I'm going to talk about today. So, I talked about yesterday how my wife and I, we work from home, and we also homeschool our son. So, why I wanted to talk about this one, talk about relationships, is a lot of people that I've talked to, uh, especially closer family that have seen my wife and I, our success, is they've wanted to work from home. They've wanted to either run a business or they've wanted to just have the opportunity to work from home, homeschool their son. I've had a few people ask me about that at different conventions I've been at. And the thing is that a lot of people kind of skip right over is the fact that if you're working from home, you're going to have to take on extra responsibilities besides just working from home. And for me, I worked at a corporate position as a manager for 5.5 years. And whenever I left that job, whenever I retired and I came home, there were some added responsibilities that I was not aware of. I didn't think about it. When I came home, I had to become a better husband because I was working with my wife. I had to become a better father because I was dealing with my son on a 24-hour, 7 day a week basis. And the thing is that for me, I was very ill prepared. I, going back to what I was just saying, was I was working in that job for 5.5 years, and every day, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes seven, being a manager, I was working anywhere from 10 to 15 hours a day. There was a few days that I worked 20 hours. There was days that I worked like 17. It was just insanity. So I was used to being away from my family. Maybe that's like you. Maybe you're used to being away. So coming home, you got to understand that you're going to be dealing with your wife and your kid if you have a kid, or maybe just your significant other. And for a lot of people, that sounds amazing until you get about 4 months in and you want to pull your hair out because you're dealing with this person. And the thing is that there's a couple of resources. I'm going to link them out in the description for you guys. I don't have an affiliate link, so I'm not going to get paid for this, but it's something that has really helped our relationship. A, love languages. I would absolutely implore you go read the love languages book, the five love languages, because for my wife and I, we needed that to be able to understand what it is that makes that person feel loved. So if you don't know, just a brief synopsis. The five love languages, they describe in detail different love languages like acts of service, quality time, physical affection. That's three. That's three of the five. I don't remember the other two off the top of my head because they're not at the top of either of our lists. But the thing is the way that you feel loved. Maybe you feel loved whenever someone gives you a hug. May not be the way that someone else feels loved. And so that's a very important thing when you're working with somebody all the time is you want them to feel appreciated. The thing is this can go for any of your relationships. I don't want you to think that this has to just be a romantic relationship. The thing is that maybe you have a boss or a friend at the job that you're at, and for them, maybe you want them to feel appreciated. A lot of times saying great job does not make that person feel appreciated because they're still having to do the same job, they're still having to put in the same amount of hours. Do something extra, go the extra mile. A big thing that I used to do as a manager, and a big thing that we try to do with our son, is we try to reward them for going above and beyond. We want to be able to, you know, throw a pizza party for the guys because I was over an entire branch of our company, and I wanted to be able to surprise them if they did really well. And the thing is that same thing goes for your relationship at home. If you're at home working from home, for me, I can only speak from experience. When I was from being in the same room working with my wife, because we have a pretty big room, pretty big office. It's also doubles as a theater room. Over there is her desk and my son's desk. So the entire family's up here for a decent majority of the day, 5 days a week. And for me, I was so used to being out of the house, I was so used to having my own space that it made it very difficult being at home because I was in a much smaller room than this and we were always right next to each other. So, learning those 5 love languages so you can know what makes them feel appreciated and also having them read it so they can know how you feel appreciated, how you feel loved will really help you be able to connect, which will help your work relationship. Because if you are sitting there, and I'm sure some of you can attest to this, I can, that if you absolutely hate being around people because of the way they treat you or the way you treat them, then it's going to be a terrible work environment. And nothing could be more true than that, especially when you're working at home. You're working at home around the same person every day. You got to make sure that that work relationship is good because that work relationship is going to carry into other aspects of your life because that's a significant other of yours, or maybe that's a business that you started with your best friend, or you started a business in your dorm room with your buddies there. You still want to make sure that work relationship is good. I mean, you got to think. There's a book that I read. It's one of my favorites by Damon John. He was talking about how him and his friend started Fubu, and with that, they were working out of his house, so that his mother gave him. So the thing is that if that work relationship's not good, you're going to have not only terrible work relationship and your business is going to suffer, but your friendship is also going to suffer. So just bear that in mind. That's number one. Read that one. Read the 5 love languages. Helps you understand the people around you more. Number two, I would say relationship goals. At least do the challenge book. Relationship Goals, the challenge book by Michael Todd. His book breaks it down. It's like a 30-day challenge. So you can, if you're not a fast reader, you're not a great reader, it's okay. It's like 3 pages a day. And it has it broken down in a 30-day increment. It's a 30-day relationship challenge. It's, one day, 3 pages, 3-4 pages. Next day, 3 or 4 pages. But if you do that consistently, especially if you are working from home with your significant other, that's a great book that both of you need to read. So I would suggest getting 2 copies. That's what my wife and I did. That way you can both, as you go, because there's discussion points. So as you go, you want to be able to read the chapter, you want to be able to look at those discussion points, and you want to discuss with the other person, hey, this is what I feel this chapter is talking about. This is how what you said last night about my cooking made me feel, whatever it may be for the day. And for me, it's really helped us have some hard discussions. The thing that happens whenever you work from home is you get caught up in talking about business, and then your relationship almost takes a back seat. So when your relationship takes that second place on the ladder, all of a sudden you'll just like skim over the harder conversations. So reading this book has helped us dive deeper into those things to be able to discuss it, be able to work through it, be able to grow closer together, which in turn helps our business. And that's the biggest thing that I want to talk about here as I'm wrapping it up. I like to try to keep these around 10 minutes. Is your relationships, if you're working from home or if you're in a job, your relationships mean more than you can realize. The relationships with your boss, the relationships with your coworkers, the relationships with your significant other, your relationships with your friends, if you're working with them, mean more than you realize. So invest time and energy into learning more about yourself and the people around you. And I'm going to end it with that. I want to thank you guys again just for joining me today on our Let's Talk series. I will be back again tomorrow I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about yet, but I'm going to do these every day. If you like them, please drop a like. If you want me to change any topics or if you have any ideas, let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.